Welcome everybody. It's your boy JT Thunder and
The stash, baby. We back again.
episode 8. So we're going to go ahead and start off with our first topic of the day.
What you got for me,
Offensive
JT?
player, offensive player of the year for the NFL and defensive player of the year. Who's your
Uh,
pick?
I'll give you my offense first. Then I want to hear your offense.
Okay.
So so I know this position isn't being treated the best right now, but I'm actually going with the running back for offensive player of the year.
Oh, okay. I like it. I like it.
I'm
Who is
going
it?
with I'm going with Christian McCaffrey. I
Ooh.
think that this year, having a full year with the 49ers and not being on Carolina, I think that he's had more time to develop underneath their offense, even though he played fantastic when he was there last year. So I'm going with CMC. I think CMC is a fantastic choice for Offensive Player of the Year, and I think that he'll get a lot of receptions, a lot of carries.
I mean, in that offense, they run the ball a lot under Shanahan, West Coast style of offense. So, I mean, he's going to get a good amount of touches on the ground. And even in the air, too, they utilize him a lot. So, I think he could be a great player, great pick for Offensive Player of the Year. Uh, so, my Offensive Player of the Year this year is going to be Justin Jefferson's buddy,
Oh,
La Greedy, Jamar Chase. You thought I was going with Jay Jettis, didn't you?
I
Back
did.
to
I
back.
did. I thought that Viking brain was kicking in there.
Yeah, yeah. So my reasoning behind this, I think that Joe Burrow and the Jamar Chase duo is going to take another leap this year. The connection is going to get even better. I just love the whole dynamic with them in Cincinnati. I think that they're going to get a lot of yards and touchdowns together. If Burrow can stay healthy, if that calf injury does not linger, I think that Chase could be easily a top 3 receiver this year. And I think he'll put up honestly the best numbers by any receiver if he stays healthy. So we will see. But that'll be my pick for.
I'm gonna add on to that. Because if say you're right and I'm right, because I've got we talked about this. I've got Burrow as my MVP candidate this year,
Mhm.
so that would be a MVP quarterback throwing to the offensive best player of the year in Jamar Chase. That would be
That,
interesting to see. I like
that
that.
would be Yeah, that'd be very scary for opposing defenses to try and guard. So moving on to defensive player of the year, who do you have for your selection?
JT, I've been repping him all summer. I thought he played great last year, and I know this is kind of big, especially coming off somebody who's only going to be in their second year. But if Sauce Gardner plays the full field, I've got Sauce as my defensive player of the year. If he plays the full field, both
Mhm.
sides, guards your best guy. But hear me out. I've got a hot take for you here.
Okay.
I think that if it's Sauce, if Sauce doesn't play both sides of the field and he stays on one side, I've got Aiden Hutchinson winning Defensive Player of the Year.
Ooh, a little spicy take there. Okay. I like it. I could see the production in this upcoming season for Detroit. Their defense could take another step up,
They
but
got, they got
uh,
two of the three best free agent cornerbacks in free agency, and the
yeah,
other one, the best one, is hurt now. So it was Ramsey.
yeah, that is true. Um, I think for Sauce, he's gonna get his interception number up a little bit. Um, I mean, Trayvon Diggs gets a lot of interceptions, but they try him a lot more. Like they're more willing to throw it his direction than Sauce. So I feel like if he gets a few more picks, he'll definitely be in that conversation. But I mean, at the end of the day, if you're locking people down, if you have a lot of pass breakups, if your quarterback rating percentage is really low whenever the quarterback throws at you, I mean that signifies that you're a lockdown corner. So I like that. Um,
With the cornerbacks in general, I like with like Sauce for example. If the quarterback throws the other side of the field all day, you know he doesn't want to throw it to you. Like there's a
exactly.
reason for
That's,
that.
that's a respect thing too. I mean, in year one already,
Hmm.
so I think he's definitely making a great impact on the league at a young age. So my defensive player of the year pick, I think some people are kind of sleeping on this guy this year. He's a big name, but he's not received the attention like TJ Watt has or Nick Bosa has. But Miles Garrett for the Cleveland Browns, I mean, he's a force to be reckoned with. He's a physical freak on the edge, man. He's got raw, athletic, just God gifted talent, bro. And I think that the defense for Cleveland could be better this year than previous seasons, but I think if Miles can stay healthy, he's a force to be reckoned with off the edge. I think he'll have at least 15 or more sacks this year. He could be pushing for that 20 mark, but that's my defensive player of the year.
I like a pick. Miles Garrett is always a great player. He is tough to play against, so I like the pick. Let's see. I'm excited. I just can't wait, JT. I'm ready for football to start. I have been dying all summer for this to start. I
Mm.
was telling my my old lady earlier. Told her I was like, listen, I'm like going stir crazy right now because football season is so close to being here, and I'm just ready to watch.
It's almost here. So we'll go ahead and move on. Who is the best backup quarterback in the NFL right now? What is your opinion on that?
I want you to go first on this. I got a
Okay.
technical
All
kind of a
right.
hot take on this, but like not
Hmm.
really.
I'll give you a few hints before I tell this man's name. So he used to start several years for a team. He's just recently become a backup in the last 2 to 3 seasons. He took this team to the wild card round a few years in a row, but lost every round in the opening round. He never got past the wild card. He wore orange. He played for the Cincinnati Bengals. Andy Dalton. I think Andy Dalton is the best backup quarterback in the NFL right now. From his IQ to his understanding of the game, he's still got the ability to make those throws down the field, man. So I think he's a great backup quarterback. Probably the best in my opinion.
That wow,
Who is yours?
that really shocked me. I had no
Yeah.
idea where you were going with
Okay.
that. Like I thought you may have been going like the person I picked, but I was
Mm.
wrong. You picked someone completely different. My pick is actually like this. It's gonna sound crazy. My pick is Jameis Winston. He is the
Okay.
best backup. Like, cause he's potentially a starter almost like not everywhere, but like some places he's a starter.
Mm.
So yeah, I think that was that's my pick. I think Jameis Winston is actually the best backup QB
I
because if
mean,
Carr goes down, you still got Jameis. It's not like you're falling that far down.
mhm.
Like I mean, I think Derek Carr is better than Jameis, but I don't think that Derek Carr is that much better than Jameis. Like he's not a crazy amount better.
I think Jameis still has the potential to be a good NFL quarterback. I mean, he's shown that he can make the throws whenever it matters the most, but it's just the inconsistency. That's why he's not a starter anymore. So if he has another opportunity to come in the game, and yep, 30 for 30. Yep.
30. I remember.
Oh yeah. But yeah, I like Jameis. He's a funny dude in the locker room. Those videos you see eating the W. Yeah. So I mean, I like Jameis as a just his personality. It's very radiant. But to be the best backup quarterback, and you have him over Teddy Bridgewater,
I do.
over even. I mean, I want to say Nick Foles, but that was like a 1 to 2 year thing. I don't really count that.
Like I'm glad we moved on from him. Like I knew we would, and
Mm-hmm.
and he also didn't want to re-sign with the Bucks when Tom Brady came there because he didn't want to be a backup.
Mm-hmm.
And now he's like matured, I guess, and he wants to be a backup in New Orleans. That's fine, but no, I dealt with James Winston. Like I know what he is. I'm not like rooting for. I'm not picking him because I think because he played for the Bucks. I'm picking him
Yeah,
because I genuinely do think he's the best backup QB.
very valid. I like it. All right. So, have you heard about the Florida Gators documentary on Netflix? What
Yes,
is your
I
thoughts regarding that? I've yet to see it, so I'll get back to you and I'll let you know what I think.
So there was a lot of nostalgia for this for me because growing up as a
Um,
Gators fan and getting to rewatch all these moments and finding out some things I didn't know. Like I was a kid, I didn't know that like gunshots and drugs and like all this stuff was happening and everything. And it gives you a really deep dive into like how hard of a program it was. Like it was a lot it was a lot different than you think. It was really rough. Uh, I thoroughly enjoyed it. Getting to watch Tebow again. Growing up and getting to watch that was amazing, and reliving it. Like I had a lot of goosebumps from the nostalgia and everything about it. Just reliving that moment, just
That's awesome.
as like a 10-year-old kid. Like watching it was beautiful.
I mean, I just love Tebow. He's a great leader and arguably the best SEC quarterback of all time. I think he is. So I saw this one review though. I'll say this.
Mm.
So they did not mention Aaron Hernandez but once in the entire documentary. So
Yes.
I kind of question like the untold. The title was Untold. I believe in the description about the Florida Gators. Like if you're talking about untold stories, you've got to include Aaron Hernandez in that more often. So I
Well,
feel like that and Percy Harvin apparently choked out his receiving coach at Florida. And then Cam Newton wasn't mentioned at all. Whenever he got kicked off the team for stealing the Florida's laptop or whatever it was, and I feel like they could have went more in depth of that. Apparently from the review. So,
they
but
talked a lot about a lot of the things that happened during that time
mhm,
period. They do go in depth to a lot of things. I didn't. They didn't talk about the Cam Newton. No.
yeah,
A few things they didn't talk about, but like they talked about some like bigger things. Actually, I think
okay.
that overshadowed those.
Mm. I'll
Uh,
have to watch it because yeah, I've yet to see it, but I'll take your word on it.
Very good though. I highly recommend like everybody if you get a
Mm.
chance to watch it, watch it. It's really good.
That's
So
good.
is the Johnny Manziel one they did. I watched that one recently too. Very good.
Yes, I've heard about it. I've seen a little bit of it. It looks really good. So, is it on
Yeah,
Netflix as well?
it is. Like all these untold stories documentaries have been fantastic that I've seen. Like
I've
the
seen like yeah, like little shorts and clips on like Instagram and stuff like that. But alrighty, so college football playoff predictions is next. I mean, college football coming around the corner to be kicking off next Saturday. So, who is your college football playoff Final Four? Who would you pick?
I got it like this. So I already told you, I got Georgia repeating. I got them Bulldogs going all the way. I hate Georgia, by the way. For like the people that see this video and think I'm just riding Georgia. No, I absolutely hate Georgia. I hate Georgia. They're one of the teams I hate the most as a Gators fan. So, no, I hate Georgia. So, no, I'm not. I don't want Georgia to win. I just think they will. Looking at it from a non-biased standpoint, I got Georgia repeating. I got USC in the
Like,
Final Four. I've got Alabama making it again,
mm,
and I've got Michigan.
ooh,
That's
like
my four. I think
okay.
that Caleb Williams is a very good quarterback. I'm excited
Mm,
to see what he does this year. See if he really does earn this Heisman that everyone's talking about him earning. So I'm excited for that. I think Georgia's going to be still as good as they were. I think
mm,
Michigan's going to be good. And Alabama, we'll talk more about Alabama later. Here in a little bit, but I'll go more into Alabama then. But
mm.
now I got that's my final four. I got who you got for this? I'm excited. I'm curious if we matched up the same or if you got a different take than me.
What would your seating be 1 through 4? Like
Georgia,
one, Jordan.
Michigan,
Okay,
USC, Alabama.
I like that. I like that. Um, I would do honestly in order. I would go Georgia at 1. I'm gonna take USC at 2. Number 3, I'm gonna go Michigan with Blake Corum. I think he's gonna have a great year, possibly even a Heisman year for that running back. He's a stud. So, and then for 4, I've got 2 teams that could possibly make it. Hear me out. The first team,
Better not
I'm
be
gonna go ahead and say
TCU.
it. I think it will be the Tennessee Volunteers. Hear me out. I think if Joe Milton plays with a consistent, ball placement accuracy, if he continues to improve at that, like he showcased against Clemson in the Orange Bowl, I think that the weapons around him and if that defense improves, which they've got all the talent from, I mean, the transfer portal and recruiting, I think they could win at least 10 games. And if they can sneak past Alabama again this year, that's a one loss. And then they'll be playing, well, actually, they need to beat Georgia, if anybody, because they're in the East. So if they have a chance to make the playoffs, it would be having to beat Georgia, and then they could afford to lose to Bama and be 11-1 and still go to the playoffs. Um, but yeah, they've got to beat Georgia probably to make it in, and that's not very likely. But I think that Tennessee could be in the mix down the stretch. And my second team that I've got this year that could make a surge for the playoffs is actually Clemson. I think that Clemson is going to be on the uprise this year. A lot of people's not really talking about them, but they're getting some guys on defense that are going to make some noise for that program this year. But the quarterback situation is a little shaky. But this could be a good bounce back year for Clemson in that program for Dabo.
Okay. I don't hate the pick. I do want to talk about the Volunteers for a second. So looking at, I've got pulled up their schedule, and we can talk about it for a minute. But they've got Georgia the second to last week of the season.
Oof, oof.
Yeah.
So I mean that could be fighting for a playoff appearance right there. I mean it's in Neyland too, so that could help them boys out a lot, especially if they beat Bama and they're undefeated going into that game.
And they're going to Gainesville this year.
At Florida, yeah, that'll be a tough environment. I think that they should be able to pull that one out though.
That one could go either way, just like it does every year. So we'll see on that. That's the only two. They play Texas A&M. Texas A&M is ranked 23rd in the country. Alabama's ranked fourth right now. I have not actually looked at the rankings just yet. Those were my four teams I just thought of.
Yeah,
This is the first time I'm getting to see the rankings. Georgia's number one. Yeah, Texas A&M. It'll be tough this year.
yeah, it'll be a battle for sure.
Plus, there's a lot of teams that aren't even ranked that are going to surprise everybody and then end up being ranked by the end of the year.
Exactly.
So we'll
All
see.
right. So, what do you think about the quarterback battle in Alabama? They don't have a definitive starter right now. So, Nick Saban, is that raising some questions in Alabama right now? Do you think?
JT,
So, right. Yeah.
I don't think this is as big of an issue as everyone's making it out to be.
Mm.
I think that this. Okay, what does Nick Saban do? He wins national titles. It's pretty obvious. That's what he does. Even if you hate Alabama, you know what he does. He's a great coach. He's probably the greatest coach of all time in college football. It's hard to say that he's not.
Yeah.
So he knows how to win. He's had great quarterbacks over the years. What I'm telling you right now is he's not worried about his QB. Who should be worried are people that Alabama plays this year, because that means all three of them are good.
Hmm. I hate to be the devil's advocate here, but having reloaded talent every year is something that is highly coveted, especially by SEC teams. The five stars do not guarantee that you're going to make it at the college level.
Right.
I mean, so I think that, I mean, the battle between Jalen Milroe and Ty Simpson. Milroe last year did not look good, man. I mean, he looked good on the ground, but passing through the air, he just did not look like he was poised. I mean, surely he can improve at that this season. Um, I mean, in his second season with Bama. But they might lean towards Ty Simpson if he starts to decline and they start losing a couple games. But I mean, surely to goodness, Nick Saban's got a plan, and I do not want to doubt that man. So I think they'll be all right.
Okay.
But we'll move on to NBA.
NBA
Who do
time.
you have starting off your team? Who would you rather choose? De'Aaron Fox or Ja Morant?
So this is an interesting take, because I thought about this for a little bit when you brought this up to me, and I thought about it. If there's no off the court issues, I'm taking Ja Morant.
Mm,
But with off the court issues, I'm taking De'Aaron Fox. I want my guy to actually play. I think De'Aaron Fox is very talented. I think he's underrated personally.
yeah.
Him and that Sacramento team made the playoffs this year for the first time in 22 years or something.
Mhm.
So I think that shows a lot of talent and effort, and just helping a team get set for where they're trying to be at. So I'm taking De'Aaron Fox on this. I think Ja Morant's fantastic. I really did like him until he started getting in off the court trouble, and I just kind of distanced myself about it. Because I think that's the thing. I think Ja Morant's very talented. I think he has more talent than De'Aaron Fox.
Mhm.
But that's going to be just an issue for me with it.
I would agree with that. I feel like John Moran is definitely more talented than De'Aaron Fox, but for me, if I'm starting off a team, I think that De'Aaron Fox truly just loves the game more than John Morant values it. Um, I think that they both enjoy making a living playing the sport they love. However, I don't think Ja really takes his job as seriously as he needs to in certain situations where he's gotten in trouble in the past. That's off the court stuff. We won't get into that a whole lot. But on the court, I'll spit some statistics to you and let me know what you think about it. So, over the course of their career, John Morant has averaged 22.4 points per game. De'Aaron Fox, 20.2. Assists per game for Ja, 7.4 compared to De'Aaron Fox, 6.2. Rebounds for John Morant, 4.8 compared to De'Aaron Fox, 3.7. This past season, 2022-2023, John Morant, 26.2 points per game, 5.9 rebounds per game, and 8.1 assists per game. De'Aaron Fox, 25 points per game, 4.2 rebounds, and 6.1 assists. So John Morant has him beat in rebounds and assists by roughly two on both ends of that, 2.0 roughly. The points are very close. They're just a little over a point apart. The field goal efficiency, though, for Ja, 46.6%. That's 74th in the NBA. He's got to improve at that. He shoots the ball at such an inefficient mark, and De'Aaron was top 34 in the NBA at 51.2. You got to be around that 50 mark, man, to be successful as a shooter. Um, but I mean, there's definitely more dynamics than just being a shooter in the NBA. You got to be a playmaking guy. You got to have good court vision as a point guard. But just the flashes and the explosiveness from those two guys alone are insane. But I would rather choose De'Aaron Fox for my team personally, just a preference. Um, I think he would fit the mold of what I'm trying to build as a point guard for my team. And honestly, Ja gets hurt more, I feel like, than De'Aaron Fox. So take that as you will.
So I'm gonna add a little extra point on this that you like. I just noticed in the statistics for this. One thing
Mhm.
you notice though is Darren Fox has gotten better every year.
He has progressively gotten better every single year. Uh, Except for 21, he had a little bit less points per game than this year. Um, but I mean, he's been improved significantly. I feel like he had a big jump from his rookie year to his second year, almost 7 more points per game. So that's yeah. I like John Morant a lot, and his just pure potential to grow as a player. Especially if it doesn't work out in Memphis and he gets traded to another team, maybe he grows as a player even more. Um, but I really do like De'Aaron Fox. He's a true gifted point guard.
I like that. That's a good take.
Yes, sir. Both of them guys are extremely talented though. So
Very.
we'll move on. So one NBA player you love and one NBA player you hate. I'll let you go ahead and start that off for us.
You're gonna make me start this. I'm gonna get the people pissed off at me already. I hate LeBron James. There we go. I said it. I'm getting out of the way. Y'all can hate me. I am not I'm not like a Jordan writer either.
Yeah,
Like, I think
yeah.
Jordan's the best. Don't get me wrong, but it's not like even that because like, yeah, he's the best. Like LeBron's great. I think he's fantastic. I think he's one of the best, and I'll be sad when he does retire
Mhm.
because he's one of the best to ever do it. Is left the game. So I hate LeBron. Um, you want a current player or do you want a player that nobody like most people don't think about? And I just love watching him play and was a huge fan of him
We'll go ahead and do just all time.
all time. JJ Redick. I am a huge JJ Redick fan. I love JJ Redick even though he's a freaking Duke boy. Oh, but I watched it when he got drafted to Orlando. He played there. I became a huge fan. Then he left and he went to the Clippers. I was a fan of them in the Clippers. I'm a huge JJ Redick fan. JJ, if you see this, huge fan. Thank you so much for letting me just watch you get to play as a kid.
Shout out our hometown where he was born in. Didn't stay there
Yes.
long.
He did
Yeah,
not stay here long.
they did not. Um, so I like that. I like that a lot. You might have some comments about LeBron with that remark, but that's a good take. So for my player that I love the most, actually, I'll go hate the most. For all you Warriors fans, you can shove it because I do not like Draymond Green at all. The little
I don't like Draymond either.
donkey man himself, bro. I mean, come on, like kicking people in the balls. I mean, that's just why. Such a dirty player, in my opinion. Like, yeah, he plays with heart a lot, but there's a point where you play with heart and you play over the line, and that he's crossed that line several times. I don't. I just do not like him as a player, man. It just rubs me the wrong way. A player that I love all time. Honestly, I could think of a Celtic, but Carmelo Anthony for me. I just loved his pure isolation scoring ability, especially whenever he was in Denver. He was a great athletic player. I mean, he was flying above the rim. Whenever he got to New York, he was still putting up great numbers. Um, Easily, he's going to be a Hall of Famer. He recently retired a few months ago, but I think Melo needs he needs the respect on his name. And yes, he's the real Melo, not LaMelo. So
I think Lamelo's good though.
Carmelo's way better though.
Oh yeah, but that's not what I meant. No, I
Yeah,
get that, but I think Carmelo's better, but I do like
yeah,
Lamelo's game. No,
yeah. No,
I
yeah.
do like this. So I think that next week we do, or next video we do a video and we each list our top 5 favorite NBA players all time. Top 5.
Mhm. Yeah, I'd be down with that.
Okay. I like
Yes,
that.
sir.
In the comments, you can put down your top 5, and we'll
Mhm.
look at see those too.
Yeah,
I'm
we'll
curious what
go.
other
We'll
people's
go
thoughts.
ahead and yeah, we'll do like top five favorite, and then we'll do a few guys that we don't like very much,
Yeah.
and y'all can leave your thoughts about that in the comments, and we'll keep it there. All right, so Lonzo Ball. Have you heard the news about him? He is having his third knee surgery to end the season. He's had 3 injuries to keep him out a full season.
Ooh.
So, uh, yikes! It's not good. Look, it's not looking good for Lonzo. And you know what this reminds me of? He's in Chicago.
No.
Derrick Rose, man. Derrick Rose, plagued by injuries. So, of course, they're not the same type of player. But the city of Chicago has just got to be brutalized by hearing this news.
Yeah, it's got to be devastating. As I watched Derrick Rose play in college at Memphis, and then I watched him when he got drafted. I watched Chicago a lot, especially since Orlando was trash. So I like Derrick Rose is one of those guys that's gonna be on my list because I was a huge Derrick Rose guy,
Mhm.
and it was awful to see. So for the fans of Chicago, it's gotta be devastating. It's like you're having a deja vu moment with it.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, Chicago Bulls fans. It looks like it's just not getting the best. Y'all had the '90s. It was fantastic for y'all. You had the goat, in my
He got
opinion.
into
You got the goat, in my opinion.
Scotty.
So yeah, I would have to say
The
just go.
GOAT.
Maybe a
But
few more years before Chicago starts seeing that Eastern Conference Finals again.
yeah. I mean, it's very unfortunate because, I mean, coming out of college, Lonzo was such a highly coveted prospect, and he just injuries has plagued his career so far. So maybe he can bounce back, but after having a third knee surgery, man, it's not looking good for him.
Oh, it's
So
not.
maybe he can go into coaching or something like that if he decides to retire early.
Big baller
But
brand.
yeah, big baller brand, baby. So we'll go ahead and transition from basketball to UFC. Who is your favorite UFC champion of all time?
So I started learning a little bit about UFC when I was younger. I
Mm,
didn't really start getting into it till a few friends of mine. I started going over and watching fights with them. And so my favorite that I have seen, McGregor's great. I love watching Conor McGregor fight. He's not my favorite, but my favorite fighter is Alexander the Great, Volk. Volk is my favorite. I think he's the best pound for pound. He's the best pound for pound fighter in the UFC. Maybe John Jones like would be right there with him. But yeah, so I would take I take Volk. That's my favorite. He's awesome to watch, and I still think he beat Islam, even though like Islam got the win. Like it's because he just sat there and wrestled in all of football. So
Yeah, very true. Well, everyone, that was our last segment of the day. Appreciate y'all tuning in. Go ahead and leave a comment, like down below, and subscribe if you haven't already. Go ahead and share this to others and kind of give us some more exposure over here on YouTube. TikTok's doing pretty well. Same handle, Thunder Sports Pod. So go
in the
ahead and give us a
bio.
follow in the bio. Go ahead and check us out. Show the love down below. But it's been a fun and a pleasure. JT Thunder out.
And the stash too, baby. We out.